and Unit 4 is all about approaches to educational research, where we'll discuss about assumptions, scope, and limitations. Is that clear?
Sir.
Okay. So we'll discuss and we'll have also interaction regarding all these contents. So let's start our discussion uh, with Unit 1. Okay.
Sir.
So what kind of discussion would you like to continue? Whether you will initiate or I will initiate, because it's not like regular classes where bit by bit is to be discussed. And I hope you will cooperate me, and I will try my best to help you develop all these activities, especially in research. So ଆଜି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କ'ଣ କେମିତି ପଢୁଥିଲ ରେ? ଓଡ଼ିଆ କହିଲେ ଚଳିବ ନା only English? I just want to know.
Sir, both the languages.
Both the language.
Yes, sir.
Combo. Dual the?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
English medium. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As per your demand, I'll
But sir, ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ୍ ଟିକେ ବଢେଇବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ, ମାନେ ବହୁତ ସ୍ଲୋ ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି।
ବହୁତ ସ୍ଲୋ ଶୁଭୁଛି। Okay.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍, ବାସ୍ ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ସିଷ୍ଟମରେ ଟିକେ ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ୍ ଟା ବଢାନ୍ତୁ ନହେଲେ।
ମୁଁ ବଢେଇଛି, ଏବେ ଶୁଭୁଛି? Audible now?
ସାର୍ ତଥାପି ସ୍ଲୋ ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି।
Actually sir,
Audible now?
clearly audible ହେଲେ ଆମେ ଟିକେ properly ଟିକେ catch କରିପାରିବୁ। କଣ ମାନେ ଭଏସ ଟିକେ ଆମକୁ ଯେମିତି
ଏବେ
ସୁବିଧା ହବ
ଶୁଭୁଛି?
କ୍ୟାଚ୍ କରିବା।
ଏବେ ଶୁଭୁଛି?
ସାର୍ ଏଠି ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି ଠିକ ଠାକ, ମଝିରେ ଟିକେ ବ୍ରେକିଂ ହେଇଯାଉଛି ତ।
Okay, okay, I'll try. ଯଦି
ସାର୍
ଶୁଭିବନି then ତମେ କହିପାରିବ ଯେ it's not audible, so I'll
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
so ଆମେ କ'ଣ କରିବା ଯେ discussion start କରିବା ନା ତମମାନେ query କରିବ? I'll try to supplement it regarding language. Single language use କରିବା ନା both bilingual, English and Odia? After your demand, I will move forward.
ସାର୍ ଠିକଟା ଶୁଣା ଯାଉନି।
Anybody? ମୋ voice ଶୁଭୁନି କିଛି?
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ବହୁତ ସ୍ଲୋ ଶୁଣା।
Sir, also sub.
Madhav, Vijay, Mamta, so I need to be, confirm whether my voice is audible to you or not.
Sir, your voice is
Subhani,
not clearly audible. Sometimes it breaks.
Very slow.
Very slow, sir.
ସମସ୍ତେ ମାଇକ୍ରୋଫୋନ ଏକା
So
ମାଇକ୍ରୋଫୋନଟା ସମସ୍ତେ
ଗୋଟେ କାମ କର ସମସ୍ତେ ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ ହୁଅ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ଯଦି ମୋ ଭଏସ କିଛି ଶୁଭୁନି then you can unmute and reply me. Okay? ଆମେ proceed. Anybody?
ଶୁଭୁନି ସାର୍, ଆଉ ଟିକେ
ଏବେ ଶୁଭୁଛି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା ଏବେ ହେଲା।
Okay, let's continue with this. So we'll start from what knowledge is as far as you study material and syllabus. Okay. Is my voice audible? Hello? Am I audible? Okay. So let's start our discussion from the concept of knowledge. What knowledge is? Can anybody? So knowledge, simply knowledge, it consists of that.
Sir, there is some sort of issues with your voice. We are unable to listen to your voice, sir. Sir,
My
we
voice
are
is not
unable to
audible.
listen to your voice. No, sir. No, sir. We are unable. Your voice is breaking.
Next,
Yes, sir.
what
Sir,
can I
କିଛି
do? Let
ଶୁଭୁନି।
me try. Okay, let me try. Let me try. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's fine. Yes, sir.
It's fine.
Yes, sir.
Sir, continue.
Sir, sir, kindly unmute yourself. You have muted yourself, so we are not getting your voice.
Oh shit.
What happened? God.
ମାଧବ ଭାଇ ସାର୍ ଆସିନାହାନ୍ତି କି ଆହୁରି?
ନାଇଁ ଭାଇ ସାର୍ ଜଏନ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ସାର୍ ଲେଟ୍ ହେଇଗଲା ସାର୍ ଆସିଲେ ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ମାଇକ୍ରୋଫୋନ୍ ଟାକୁ ଅନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଭଏସ୍ ପାଉନୁ ଆପଣ ଅନମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କଲେ ହିଁ ଆମେ ଶୁଣିପାରିବୁ।
ସାର୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମାଇକ୍ରୋଫୋନ୍ ଟା ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ ଅଛି। ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ଟା କଣ ମୋବାଇଲ ନା ଲ୍ୟାପଟପ୍ ନା ଡେସ୍କଟପ୍? ଆରେ ପିଲି ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଟିକେ କହିଦବ ଟିକେ କୋଉଟା।
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ କିଏ ଜଣେ ପର୍ସନାଲି ଫୋନ କରିକି କହିଲେ ହେବ?
Hello? Hello?
Yes sir. Sir.
Cool now?
Yes sir.
Okay. So I was talking about our discussion will start from what knowledge is. Okay. So knowledge as far as scientific nature of knowledge is concerned, so knowledge is well tested, well verified, and well tried out, and it needs to be validated. That we consider as scientific knowledge. So, as far as knowledge is concerned, no, we may derive at certain truth with some philosophical point of view, and all these are categorized into three. One is rationalistic tradition, number two is empirical tradition, and number three is your pragmatic tradition. So rationalistic tradition says knowledge is derived through knowledge is derived through. Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, audible.
So rationalistic tradition says knowledge is derived through deductive reasoning based on self-evidence or based on some basic truths. Whereas your empirical tradition is all about the natural phenomena which can be only through which can be gained through experience and not through deductive reasoning or intuition. It means ଆମେ କ'ଣ କରିବା ଯେତେବେଳେ empirical tradition କଥା କହିବା as far as our knowledge construction is concerned, as far as philosophical tradition of knowledge is concerned, we will focus that knowledge is based on our experience, which can be experience that can be called as knowledge. It is not like that we will assume, we will do our intuition, ଅନୁମାନ କରିବା ଏବଂ ସେଟା ଜ୍ଞାନ ହେଇଯିବ, ତାହା ହେବ ନାହିଁ. Rather, we need to experience, ଆମେ ଅଙ୍ଗେ ଲିଭେଇବା, ଅନୁଭୂତି ନବା, and that will be called as real knowledge as far as personal concern is concerned. Number three, a third philosophical category which talks about pragmatic tradition says or emphasizes that experiments in the process of knowledge acquisition. It means your pragmatic tradition focuses on experiments. So knowledge acquisition is based on experiments. Parikshana, experiments. So experiment through ଆମେ ଯୋଉ knowledge gain କରିବା, ଯୋଉ knowledge construct କରିବା, that is based on our personal experience, experiments, and that is the contribution of pragmatic tradition. Next, we will move to, if there are three philosophical grounds of your knowledge, you should know about the different types of knowledge. What are the different types of knowledge? So,
Sir, ଆପଣଙ୍କ voice clearly ଶୁଭୁନି.
maybe ଶୁଭୁନି?
ନା sir ଶୁଭୁନି.
ଏବେ ବି ଶୁଭୁନି?
ଶୁଭିଲା.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
କରିବି ଇୟରଫୋନ ଦେଲେ କହିଲ ଶୁଭିଲାନି, ଲ୍ୟାପଟପ ରେ କଲି କହିଲ ଶୁଭିଲାନି. ଓକେ, ଲେଟ୍ ମି ଟ୍ରାଏ. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Okay. So basically ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା the types of knowledge ଦେଖିବା. We will have 4 types of knowledge as far as your syllabus and material is concerned. The first type will come across declarative knowledge or declarative type of knowledge. Then what is that? What kind of knowledge will be considered or treated as declarative knowledge? Your declarative knowledge is nothing, rather it is related to knowing about things. Knowing about things. Just remember when we started knowing about the solar system, that knowledge is called as declarative knowledge. So simply knowing about things is called as declarative knowledge. The second category then comes is all about your functioning knowledge, and it describes that how to do things, which involves performance of individuals based on understanding the concept or the phenomenon or the process. So functioning knowledge, enables us or the individual to do things with a proper understanding of the process or the phenomenon. For example, I कौचे functioning knowledge. Suppose riding bicycle is all about functioning. But knowing about bicycle is all about your what declarative knowledge. So in order to be functional with regard to knowledge, we need to have declarative knowledge first. Without knowing the components, the elements, or the concept of riding bicycle or bicycle, we will fail to have functioning knowledge of bicycle or riding bicycle. The third category or type of knowledge is all about procedural knowledge. Procedural knowledge. Procedural knowledge, helps to develop essential skills. This knowledge helps to develop essential skills, and it is based on some sort of skills. So first, declarative. Now we performed certain activities with functional knowledge, and while performing certain activities, we we gathered some procedural knowledge with its appropriate steps or processes. So procedural knowledge is based on performance of the individual of a task in a right direction or right action with appropriate sequence or steps that are followed. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରକ୍ରିୟା ଦେଇକି ଆମେ ସାଇକେଲ ଚଲଉଛେ, ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରକ୍ରିୟା ଦେଇକି ଆମେ ସାଇକେଲ ଚଲଉଛେ, ଯୋଉ ସ୍ଟେପ୍ସକୁ ଆମେ ଫଲୋ କରୁଛେ, ଯୋଉ ଷ୍ଟେପ୍ର ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ଅଛି ସେ ଷ୍ଟେପ୍କୁ ଆମକୁ ଫଲୋ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ. ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଅଲ୍ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ପ୍ରୋସିଜରାଲ ନଲେଜ. ସପୋଜ ଆମେ କହିବା ସାଇକେଲ ଚଲେଇଲା ବେଳେ ପେଡାଲ ଉପରେ ଗୋଡ଼ ରହିବା ଉଚିତ, ଆଗକୁ ଦେଖିବା ଉଚିତ, କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଆସିବା ଦରକାର ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡେଲ ଉପରେ, ତାହେଲେ ସାଇକେଲ ଆରାମସେ ଚାଲିବ. ନା କି ଆମେ କହିବା ସାଇକେଲ ଉପରେ ବସିଯିବା ଏବଂ ସାଇକେଲ ଗଡ଼ିଯିବ, ପେଡାଲ ମାରିବାନି, ସେଇଟା ହବ ନା. So we need to develop declarative knowledge followed by functional knowledge, then procedural knowledge. And the fourth category is all about conditional knowledge. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So conditional knowledge is all about one kind of knowledge, that is the combination of both procedural and high level of declarative knowledge. So both, it's a combination of both the two. It's a combination of procedural and declarative knowledge. Now what does it do? Now it informs us what one individual or child should do in a certain given situation. ଆମକୁ କ'ଣ କରିବାର ଅଛି? ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ କଣ୍ଡିସନାଲ ନଲେଜ. For example, during this pandemic situation, just remember, whenever you are offered a meal, what are the conditions now? At least you sanitize yourself with proper hand wash or sanitizer, well cleaning of your mouth, and etc. So your conditional knowledge, for another example, conditional knowledge it is the combination of both procedural knowledge and higher order of declarative knowledge, which informs us about what should be done in a particular situation. Okay? For example, we need to perform well in examination. So what are the conditions? Conditions are like that. You need to study regularly. You need to study with proper understanding. Without memorizing facts, there is need of understanding the things so that you can interpret and reflect of your own while writing on the answer scripts. So that will help you to fetch maximum marks in the examination, to do well, to score high marks in the examination. What are the other conditions that need to be followed? You need to answer all these questions systematically. या नुह 50 मार्क पड़ी 5टा क्वेश्चन पड़ी 4 नंबर आगे क्वेश्चन करदेली पूरा 40 मार्क 10 मार्क तो छाड़ीदेली. सो कौन हम ना मुझे 10 मार्क छाड़ी दूसरी नेट 4टा क्वेश्चन करके आसिली. There is 100% chance that net 10 mark I lost. 10 मार्क छाड़ी दे के, so that will decrease your performance. That will hamper your score. So from that point, these are 4 types of knowledge which needs to be known by all. Besides this, there are also other categories of knowledge like your reflective, critical thinking knowledge, critical knowledge, all this, intuitive knowledge, all these. Now we will move towards different sources of knowledge. Am I audible now? Anybody?
No, sir, sometimes voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking till now.
Clearly ଶୁଭୁନି.
ଏବେ ବି ଶୁଭୁନି?
ଏବେ ଶୁଭୁଛି ସାର୍।
ନା sir, ଏବେ ଶୁଭୁଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ମଝିରେ ମଝିରେ ଟିକେ ବ୍ରେକ୍ ହେଇଯାଉଛି sir.
ଲାଗି ହଉଛି ଶୁଭୁନି ସାର୍.
Okay, I'm trying my best, but maybe there may be some sort of network connectivity problem, maybe, but I'm trying. So we'll discuss now different sources of knowledge. Sources of knowledge. Then course the types of knowledge. We discussed about different traditions of knowledge. So let's discuss about different sources of knowledge. What are those? What are the different sources? So उत्स कौन कोठ हमें ज्ञान पाइबा? हमें निजे उत्स ना हमको छाड़ी के आउ किसी सोर्स अच्छी जो हमें ज्ञान आहरण बा ग्रहण करि परिबा. Okay, so let's discuss. So first source is knowledge is acquired or gained through experience. So knowledge कथा हमें कहूचे, knowledge is gained or acquired through our experience. अनुभूति रो हमें कौन करछे ना ज्ञान आहरण करछ. और we construct ज्ञान संरचना हमें करछे हम निज अनुभूति. तो कथा हमें कहूचे अंगे लिभेले जानिबु. So that is all about our experience. So experience is the source from which we acquire or gain knowledge, or through which we construct our own knowledge. For example, ଆମେ କହୁଛି ସେ ସାଇକେଲ ଚଢିବା କଥା, ଆମେ ବାହାରେ ଛିଡା ହେଇ କହିବା ତୁ ଏମିତି କରିଦଉନୁ ସେମିତି କରିଦଉନୁ କାହିଁକି ଏମିତି ମାନେ ପଡିଗଲୁ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଚଲେଇବା, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମକୁ ଫେସ୍ କରିବା, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରିବାରେ ଫେଲ୍ ମାରିବା, then only we will devise our own strategies to ride the bicycle. So experience is the source of knowledge. For example, आज जहाँ आमे जानी छे 20 वर्ष 25 वर्ष 30 वर्ष 32 वर्ष 40 वर्ष 60 वर्ष 80 वर्ष जोटा आमे जानी ने आमे कौन करछे, we refer to our seniors, our parents, our elders, our grandfathers. Why? Because they have experienced all those happenings. That's why we seek help from those regarding any solution of a particular issue. आमे से अनुभूति नहीं ने सेमाने तांगर अंगे लिभेचंती जीवन रे सेमाने अनुभूति नैचंती, so we seek help from those. Next.
So,
Second. Yes.
So you used two terms, acquiring knowledge and constructing knowledge. Sir, can you please discuss about these two?
These two. Okay. So acquiring knowledge is all about to gather information, but when it comes to scientific knowledge, as far as construction of knowledge is concerned, without your own interpretation, that is mere information for you. Unless and until you interpret, you give a meaning, unless and until you interpret yourself, you give a meaning to it, it is mere information for you. So acquiring, suppose you are passing through a meeting, you are walking on the road and suddenly you came across with a meeting where a speaker was talking, giving a speech. Where a speaker speaking on some issues or whatever may be. You stood there, you listened to him or her, got some information. And when you give it your own interpretation, you interpreted, you understood the fact according to your own understanding, that becomes knowledge for you. So knowledge construction is possible only when you interpret of your own. Acquisition plus interpretation becomes your construction. So without your own interpretation, it is not constructed. So you construct your knowledge. Suppose, for example, we study one book. Our students refer to one book for making notes, and students, sorry for the interruption, students. Am I audible? Madhav?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was talking about, suppose we refer to, we or most of the students refer to one book, but while noting it down, while reflecting their thoughts to one particular question, the answer sheets or the writings vary. Why? Now we, the students, or all the students, they construct their own in their own ways with regard to their own experience, with regard to their previous knowledge. That is construction. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Coming to the next one, the second source will discuss about social customs and traditions. This is one of the source of knowledge where we collect or from where we construct knowledge. So, or from where we get the knowledge. That is what we call social customs and traditions. For example, our behavior, our way of talking, our way of dressing, our way of dealing with elders and youngsters. For example, the way that we behave with elders and youngsters is totally different. Why does this happen so? Because we have experienced. We have learned from our traditions. We have observed that our fathers, that our elder brothers or elder brother or sister, they behaved differently with our parents and they behave differently with us. So social custom and tradition is one of the source from where we get our knowledge. Third source is reasoning, for which we do debate, for which we argue, for which we, we make judgments regarding what is good and what is bad, for which we defend, for which no, you say this is good, this is bad, this should not be, this ought to be, this ought not to be. So reasoning is the source by which we get knowledge.
Sir, we can't listen.
Yes?
Sir, ki subah jaoni.
Subuni?
Na.
ଶୁଭୁଛି ଏବେ?
हाँ sir.
ଶୁଭୁଛି?
Yes sir.
Okay, thank you. So ମୁଁ କହୁଥିଲି third source କଥା କହୁଥିଲି, reasoning is one of the source from which we get knowledge. એટલે કହୁଛେ what should be, what should not be, what is good and what is bad. Then we put our reasoning, sense of argument, through which knowledge is generated. The fourth source is all about scientific method. ଯେତେ ସବୁ innovations ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛେ, ଆଜି କରୋନା ଭାଇରସ ଦେଖୁଛେ, COVID-19 situation ଆମେ face କରୁଛେ, we are running through pandemic situation. ଆଗରୁ କେତେ pandemic ଯାଇଛି, Ebola. We are now also facing the pandemic situation. That is all because of your scientific method. आज 4G network ଆମେ ପାଇଛେ, ଆଜି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ନା pandemic situation ର COVID-19 ର vaccine ଆସୁଛି,
रूस कहलानी वैक्सीन आसी गलानी that is all about your scientific method. So scientific method is one of the source of your knowledge. Now coming to all these are related to your research. Why? Now you need to update knowledge. You need to restructure, reorganize knowledge. That's why I'm going to knowledge is to be generated, constructed, and it is only possible in the sense of research. Now, why do we conduct research? What are the purposes of research? Number one, generation of knowledge. That's why we conduct research. हमको ज्ञान तैयारी करिवार अछि, जनरेट करिवार अछि नुवा knowledge. That's why we conduct research. And that's why researches are being conducted, undertaken. गवेषणा से हुए in order to generate new theories, new principles, new laws. So generation of knowledge is the first and foremost purpose of research. Number two, life is full of complexities, challenges, full of, problems, what you call. But we need to overcome all those problems in order to live a happy and peaceful life. कहारो सरल जीवन यापन करिवार इच्छा नहीं मते कहिलो समस्त समस्या भितर जीवन यापन करिया पे हम इच्छुक
ना
आम समस्त जीवन में कौन ना कौन समस्यार सम्मुखीन आम होचे एवं से समस्यार सम्मुखीन होचे जेतेबेले समस्यार समाधान पाई जो प्रक्रिया आम अवलंबन करूचे से प्रक्रिया ही आमर रिसर्च. So the very purpose of research कौन कहूचे, we need to solve the problem confronted by us. The problem that are faced by us need to be solved, sort out. The problem, for example, कहूचे टीवी चालू थिला, फेवराइट सीरियल हमें देखुचे, फेवराइट मूवी हमें देखुचे, टीवी चालू थिला, करंट अच्छी, ऑल ऑफ ए सडन बंद हो गला. So we start searching. कौन टाइम बंद हो गला? All of a sudden तम रूम रो लाइट कटि गला. You start searching. तम सानो भाई चुगलामी करनी तो सी खेल देखिया पे चाहूथबो, तमे फिल्म देखिया पे चाहूथबो, सीरियल देखिया पे चाहूथबो, से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हेनी तो रिमोट तक देनी तो पछपट बस मेसेज मारी देनी तो. सो वन आफ्टर अनदर हम कोन करछे ना वेरीफाई कर करके जाउछ. काहे की करछे? नाउ वी फेस्ड द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ not watching or not being able to watch our favorite series. चालू थला बंद हो गला. So we searched. We started searching the solution of that particular issue or problem.
सर हेलो सर.
Yes.
सर साइंटिफिक मेथड रो जो डिफरेंट स्टेप्स अछि सेटा टिके कहबे. साइंटिफिक मेथड रो जो पांचटा स्टेप देइछि सेटा टिके डिस्क्राइब कर देबे तो भलो होबो.
Okay, I'm coming to that point.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
So, okay, welcome. So, coming to your point, আমি কইছে scientific method কথা আমি কইছে. Just a minute. Yes, আমি scientific method কথা কইছে. This is all about application of scientific methods. So, আমি কোন করিবা? Why is called as application of scientific method? Scientific method কইলে আমি কোন বুঝছে? बा तुम जो सोर्स अच्छी रीजनिंग पर आम कहे साइंटिफिक मेथड इज वन ऑफ द सोर्स ऑफ गेटिंग नॉलेज साइंटिफिक मेथड आम से कहे बिकॉज इट फॉलोज थ्योरी तुम स्टेप 1 रे कही ना कंसिस्ट ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सीक्वेंस isn't it तो मैटर ले अछि तो पढ़ा गले दुर्गति ना आसीनी
Yes, sir. I'm here.
एबे सुबुस तो
Yes, sir.
ओके सो आमे कोन कहू स्टेप 1 रे आमे कोन कहू साइंटिफिक मेथड आमे कोन कहू it follows certain steps step 1 आमे कोन कहू a theory exists about phenomena for example आमे कोन कहू oil floats on the water if you kick a ball it will go higher towards the sky and after some time it will fall down isn't it because the earth has gravitational force पृथ्वी माध्याकर्षण शक्ति अच्छी तेणुक से जिते उपरकू गले जाई जाई पुणी निष्ठ हम स्टेप 1 theory exists about the phenomenon step 2 of scientific method says whatever the research is all about whatever the researchers do researcher needs to identify the questions that crosses his or her mind or that comes to his or her mind to get the answer with a particular context and situation. से पे टिके पूर्व कहूली कौन पाई आमर टीवी बंद हो गला प्रथम क्वेश्चन आसला कहीं बंद हो गला या हैनी तो घड़घड़ी मारदेलानी तो बालांस सरी गलानी तो टीवी खराब हो गलानी तो all these questions come to our mind and step 3 the researcher formulates hypothesis आकलन करू एटा हेई थिबो से घर लाइट ए घर लाइन काई कटि गला से घर लाइन तो अछि ता माने बाहर पटरू सानो भाई एबी स्विच ऑफ कर देछि ए थाई पारे टीवी चालुला ऑल पे सडन कोन बंद हो गला मो बोर्ड से जो बोर्ड रे कनेक्टिविटी लागि छि प्लग ता सेठी करंट पळै छि की अनुमान करू छै the third step is all about formulating a research hypothesis and the fourth step the researcher describes the specific procedures whenever you need to conduct a research you need to specify the procedure for example पढ़िबा रिसर्च पढ़ला डिटेल पढ़ला पढ़िबा फॉर एग्जांपल आमे कोन कहूचे you need to study about a child who is irregular to school दिने आसुची दिने आसु so what will you do तमे से स्कूल में बसकी ता विषय इंफॉर्मेशन पाई जीवो no you need to consult his parents his peers or friends his teachers and the child himself or herself so that's why one research tool or instrument will not be sufficient you need multiple research tools sometimes you may opt for questioning with the help of a questionnaire sometimes you need to observe the child inside the school outside the school inside the home outside the home what are the problems that are associated with irregularities of the child to the school. ହେଇପାରେ ଏହା ପସିବିଲିଟି ହେଇପାରେ ତା ବାପା ମା ଛାଡୁ ନଥିବେ, ହେଇପାରେ ସେ ଘରେ ସ୍କୁଲ କହିକି ଆସୁଥିବ ସ୍କୁଲ ଯାଉନଥିବ ସାଙ୍ଗ ସହିତ ବୁଲୁଥିବ। So you need to specify the procedure କେମିତି କରିବ, ସ୍କୁଲରେ ବସିକି ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ ଆଣିବ କି ତା ଘରକୁ ଯିବ ତା ବାପା ମାଙ୍କୁ ମିଟ୍ କରିବ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କରିବ ତାଙ୍କର ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ନେବ ପିଲାକୁ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରିବ, ତାହେଲେ ତମେ ସତ୍ୟ ଜାଣିପାରିବ। The reality or truth may be revealed. The fifth step is all about the researcher conducts the study according to the research design and collects data. Once you formulated your question, you formulated your hypothesis, you described the procedure that are to be adopted, then according to that plan you will conduct your study, you will carry out your research according to the predetermined developed plan of action. These are the 5 steps of scientific. Is that clear? Durgati Nasini? So ଆମେ ଥିଲେ କ'ଣ, ଆମେ ଥିଲେ ଏଇ ଜାଗାରେ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग कथा हमें कहूले। प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग परे आ गोटे पर्पस दुईटा पर्पस हमें देखिबा, तापरे एजुकेशनल रिसर्च को मूव करिबा। थर्ड पर्पस इज ऑल अबाउट एक्शन इन स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशंस। सो पर्पसेस ऑफ रिसर्च हमें कहबा, व्हाई डू वी कंडक्ट रिसर्च? In order to perform certain actions according to the specified situation or demand of situation. For example, after completion of B.Ed, one individual gets appointed in a school, and that school belongs to rural elementary school, and the newly recruited teacher belongs to English medium. He has never been exposed to Odia medium. So after the recruitment, ready? There will be problem. Problem will be faced while transacting the curriculum, while delivering the content. पिला पूरा मूल इंग्लिश पढ़ी पढ़ी का जाइए, इंग्लिश मीडियम रे पढ़ी पढ़ी का जाइए, देखला को गवर्नमेंट स्कूल रे पाइला, यदि इंग्लिश मीडियम होइतो तथाई प्रॉब्लम फेस, सॉरी इंग्लिश टीचर होइतो तथापि भी प्रॉब्लम फेस काहे हम समस्त जानछे ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट कोन कहूची, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल रे पिलांकर इंग्लिश रे सेति की स्किल ना, जे तमे इंग्लिश तम कहले से इंग्लिश रे बुझी। सो यू नीड टू अडॉप्ट बाइलिंगुअल अप्रोच। So action in specific situation, we need research on that. Next, training of future researchers. That's why there is need of research. That is the purpose of research. We need to train future researchers. That's why we conduct research. एबे जो सिचुएशन हमर चली छी, जदि वैक्सीन कथा देखो, पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन में वैक्सीन कथा देखो, in order to prevent COVID-19 we need vaccine, and से वैक्सीन जनक द्वारा कोन हे जीवो all over world रे, no, team of scientists are searching rigorously. So in order to train future researchers, सेट कोन केवल ओल्ड लोक थिबे नथिबे ना, एठी यंगस्टर्स भी थिबे। So in order to train our future researchers, there is also need of conducting research. Now come to, we'll specify the research into the field of education. So educational research is ଆମେ କହିବା, it is based on inductive, it is empirical in nature, and your educational research applies the scientific method for systematic study of educational situations. So research is a broader term. Now we confined to it into educational field or sector. And educational research is the application of scientific methods for systematic study of educational situations. For example, I am going effectiveness of ICT learning. Is an educational research. Thank you. ICT तो आमे टेक्नोलॉजी तो कम्युनिकेशन टाइम यूज करते, बट ताकू तो तारा यूज तो आमे देखुते in order to improve the teaching learning process, that becomes your educational research. Now 2016 ପରେ तमरो बीएड रो ड्यूरेशन 2 इयर्स हे गला, तापर भी आमे कहबो educational research is all about the application of scientific methods for systematic study of educational situations. And the scope of educational research, scope of educational research, and देखिबा first comes the levels of education. Educational research then scope बा परिसर रे देखिबा, परिसर भितर कि आसीबो ना फर्स्ट एलिमेंट हम देखिबा लेवल्स, एंड इन लेवल हम देखिबा स्तर, शिक्षा विभिन्न स्तर हम देखिबा, स्तर कि आसीबो ना प्री स्कूल एजुकेशन आसीबो, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन आसीबो, सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन आसीबो, हायर एजुकेशन और टर्शियर एजुकेशन आसीबो. In all these 4 levels of education, we conduct study or researches. Our researches are being conducted in all these levels of education. Pre school कथा कहूचे, जोड़क आमे कह दूचे एलिमेंटरी, तापर कह दूचे सेकेंडरी, हायर सेकेंडरी एंड टर्शियरी और हायर एजुकेशन. All these levels where research is being conducted for the improvement of teaching learning process. So scope of educational research includes all these levels. The परिसर कथा कहबा, research is needed, research is conducted in all these levels. Number 2, scope रा गोटे परिसर को आमे जिबा, scope या को भी include करूची. The scope of educational research includes curriculum areas. Curriculum areas, one of the elements which is included under the purview of your educational research. What is that? Especially the school curriculum ku jiba, school curriculum ku as far as curricular areas are concerned, then we come across language education, we come across science education, we come across mathematics education, we come across social science education, we come across art education, we come across business studies. So all these subjects are covered under the scope of educational research, because we need to improve We need to bring changes. We need to bring development. We need to adopt updated techniques, strategies in order to uplift the growth of the students, in order to have maximum outputs, in order to improve the quality of the students or the quality of education. And when there is a thought or requirement of improving quality, we need to search again and again. We need to conduct studies or researches how we can improve the quality of education, how we can improve the uh, knowledge, how we can improve the efficiencies of the learners. That's why lots of researches are being done, conducted. What is the best appropriate strategy? What is the best material? What is the best time? What is the best, suitable learning material, strategy, method? What is the best assessment strategy? All these are questions of research. Again, see curricular areas ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କ'ଣ ଆମେ ଟିକେ ଯିବା ଉପରକୁ ଆମେ we can also have a component like teacher education curriculum. ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା teacher education curriculum ବି ଆସୁଛି କାହା ପରିସର ଭିତରେ ନା educational research ପରିସର ଭିତରେ. And your teacher education curriculum ଯଦି ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା there are number of subjects. There are number of subjects which comes under, which come under the purview of educational research. What are those? Like philosophy of education, sociology of education, history of education, educational psychology, educational technology, peace education, value education. So all these areas are covered under the purview or scope of education. So scope of educational research is very wider, it covers almost all the subjects associated with education. So this is the second element which is covered under the scope of educational research. Third element which comes under your educational research under the scope of educational research, that is all about research methods. So as far as research method is concerned, we come across different types of research. These are also coming under the scope of educational research. What are those? Number one, historical research. As far as research method is concerned, we come across historical research. We come across survey research. We come across ethnographic research. We come across developmental research. We come across experimental research. So all these type of researches come under the scope of educational research.
हेलो
Yes.
सर ଟିକେ ରିପିଟ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ
କୋଉଟାରେ ମା?
ସାର୍ ଆମର ମେଥଡ ଗୁଡା ଟିକେ
Okay. So as far as research method is concerned, then ଦେଖିବା research methods. On the basis of research methods, different types of researches come under the scope of educational research. Historical research, survey research, experimental research, developmental research, ethnographic research, case study research. So all these come under the purview or scope of educational research. So all these types of research we will discuss one after another in the upcoming classes. These are all in your study material. They are all in your syllabus. So one after another we will go on discussing. Then your unit is a lot about the sources of knowledge that I କହୁଥିଲେ ସେ sources of knowledge ରେ ଏଠି elaborate କରିଛି. Sources of knowledge ଯଦି ଆମେ ଟିକେ ଦେଖିବା ଏଠି authority is one of the source from which there is knowledge. Authority experience କଥା ଆମେ କହିଥିଲେ life ଅନୁଭୂତି life experience is one of the source of knowledge. Likewise authority is one of the source. Authority is one of the source of knowledge. For example, government is the source of knowledge. For example, the school headmaster is the source of knowledge. ଆମେ ସ୍କୁଲ ବିଷୟରେ ଡିଟେଲ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଜାଣିନେ କାଠୁ ପାଇବା ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ ସ୍କୁଲ ଟିଚର ବା ସ୍କୁଲ ହେଡମାଷ୍ଟର ଭଲ କହିପାରିବେ. So authority is the source of knowledge. ସେଠି ଗୋଟେ କଥା ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି ରିଜନିଂ ଆମେ ଯଦି ଭାଙ୍ଗି ଦବା deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. There are two kinds of reasoning. One is inductive and the other one is deductive. So inductive and deductive reasoning are the sources of knowledge. How? Then what is inductive reasoning? What is deductive reasoning? You should know. Inductive reasoning is what? Anybody want? What is inductive reasoning? Any one of you? କି କହିପାରିବ inductive reasoning କ'ଣ?
ସାର୍ ମାନେ ଯଦି ଆମେ ମ୍ୟାଥମେଟିକ୍ସ ରେ କହିବା ଆମେ ଦତ୍ତରୁ ପ୍ରାମାଣ୍ୟ ଆଡକୁ ଯିବା ଆଉ ପ୍ରାମାଣ୍ୟରୁ ଦତ୍ତ ଆଡକୁ ଆସିବା.
ଇଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟିଭ ଟା କୋଉଟା? ଇଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟିଭ ଟା କୋଉଟା?
ସାର୍ ଦତ୍ତରୁ ପ୍ରାମାଣ୍ୟ ସାର୍ ଇଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟିଭ.
ଦତ୍ତରୁ
ପ୍ରାମାଣ୍ୟ ଆଡକୁ ଆସିବା
ହଉଛି ଇଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟିଭ. ତାକୁ ଆଉ କ'ଣ କହିପାରିବା? ତାକୁ ଆଉ କ'ଣ କହିପାରିବା? Moving from particular to general.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ଆଜ୍ଞା.
Will verify individual cases will verify. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କ'ଣ କହୁଛେ ଯଦି ତ୍ରିଭୁଜର ତିନି କୋଣର ସମଷ୍ଟି 180 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କହୁଛେ ତାମାନେ ଆମେ କ'ଣ ଫାଷ୍ଟ କ'ଣ କଲେ ଗୋଟେ ତ୍ରିଭୁଜକୁ ଭେରିଫାଏ କଲେ ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ ତ୍ରିଭୁଜକୁ ଭେରିଫାଏ କଲେ ତୃତୀୟ ତ୍ରିଭୁଜକୁ ଭେରିଫାଏ କଲେ ଭେରିଫାଏ କରିକି କ'ଣ କଲେ ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ ପହଞ୍ଚିଲେ କି ତ୍ରିଭୁଜର ତିନି କୋଣ ସମଷ୍ଟି 180. That is inductive reasoning. Verifying individual cases and reaching at the conclusion or generalization. This is one of the source of your knowledge. You will verify on individual cases, each individual cases. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କ'ଣ କହୁଛେ ସମସ୍ତ କାଉ ବା କାଉର ରଙ୍ଗ କଳା କେମିତି କହିବା? 1 ନମ୍ବର 2 ନମ୍ବର 4 ନମ୍ବର 10 ନମ୍ବର 1000 ନମ୍ବର ଦେଖି ସାରିଲା ପରେ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ କାଉର ରଙ୍ଗ ବା କାଉର ରଙ୍ଗ କଳା. ତାର ଜଷ୍ଟ ରିଭର୍ସ କରିଦେବା will deduce generalization ରୁ particular case କୁ ଆସିବ. positivistic paradigm କୁ ଆମେ shift କରିବା with regard to research. What paradigm is? Paradigm is a structure of scientific revelation and And as far as positivistic paradigm is concerned, it is the observation and region as means of understanding the behavior of any organism. So positivistic paradigm jodi ame kahiba is the scientific revelation of observations and regions as the means of understanding the behavior. Then what are the aspects of positivistic paradigm? Number one, difficulty in precise meaning. Number two, assumptions. Number three, knowledge generation. So these are the three aspects of positivistic paradigm. Let's discuss one by one. First, difficulty in precise meaning. We apply method of verification. Logical positivism. So after verifying one thing, we say that this potato is tomato. The second kotha ami koche assumptions is one of the aspect of positivistic paradigm. Kaun se assumption? Assumption kaun? Na it is determinism. What is determinism? Now determinism is concerned with that events have causes. ଯାହା ସବୁ ଘଟଣା ଘଟୁଛି ତାର କାରଣ ଅଛି. So events have causes. That is determinism. Is associated with assumption. Assumption is also attached with empiricism. Empiricism. What is that? Assumption is also attached with empiricism. What is that? Empiricism is all about evidences which can be verified, which is empirical in nature. So empiricism means reliable knowledge can only be originated in experience, which can be empirical in nature. As far as empiricism is concerned, it is reliable knowledge that can only be originated in experience or through experience. ଜ୍ଞାନ ସେତେବେଳେ ହେବ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯେକୌଣସି ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ପିଲା ନିଜେ ଅନୁଭୂତି ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବ. ତାମାନେ ଅଙ୍ଗେ ଲିଭେଇବ ଜ୍ଞାନ ପାଇବ. ଅଙ୍ଗେ ଲିଭେଇବନି, that will be a mere information for you, a message for you. When you understand, when you interpret, when you put into action, that becomes knowledge. Assumption is also, attached with generality. Generality, aspects of deductive and inductivism. We verify on individual cases, one after another, and reach at the generalized. सिद्धांत रे उपनीत हेले प्रत्येक पिला को वेरीफाई कले. सपोज आमे गोटे क्लास को गले 10टा पिला थिले से क्लास रे, एक नंबर पिला को वेरीफाई कले, तार हाइट देखले 5 फुट. 2 नंबर पिला को वेरीफाई कले, तार हाइट देखले 5 फुट. एमती करिकी 1 रु 10टा अंक पिलांकर कोन कले ना हाइट को आमे वेरीफाई कले. वेरीफाई करतला पर आमे देखले कोन समस्तंकर हाइट होची 5 फुट. तामाने आमे गोटे कंक्लूजन कोन कले एई क्लास रो बा क्लास 1 बा क्लास 5 बा क्लास 10 रो पिलांकर समस्त पिलांकर हाइट होची 5 फुट. केम टू नो द कंक्लूजन? कंक्लूजन ड्रॉ करने गले केमिति हला ना आफ्टर वेरीफाइंग each individual cases. Now third को हमें आसला थर्ड knowledge generation. as far as Madhav is concerned. Do you listen me, Madhav?
Yes, sir. Listening to you, sir.
Yes. So knowledge generation is there. I mean, third aspect of as far as the positivistic paradigm is concerned. I mean, the knowledge generation is a process. Construction. A process. The process of कौन हुए? An area is brought for study. Knowledge generation रे कौन करिबा? An area is brought for study. For example, जो specialized कथा आने कोचे पिला माने पीजी करछन तमे भी पीजी करछो आउ की कोठी मास्टर डिग्री भी करथिबे की कोठी जॉब भी करथिबे सो कौन कोछ ना स्पेशलाइज्ड branch of study. Thank you. Now we want to generate knowledge. How it is? Why does it happen so? Why did it happen? All these questions come to our mind. That's why we opt for specialized branch of study. Knowledge generation is also attached with different factors that are identified. Now we come across different specialized in medical sciences. Now, pediatric is there, cardiovasculars are there, dentists are there, orthopedic doctors are there, gynecologists are there, specialized branch of study. Because or why we opt for specialization? Because we identify different problems related to different specialized areas. So variables and factors are identified. Uti and knowledge generation. ताल आमे कहि परिबा कोन जदि फॉर एग्जांपल ए पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन रे फास्ट कहले वैक्सीन आसी गला फॉर एग्जांपल दिल्ली रे प्लाज्मा थेरेपी चलथला मझरे इश्यू हला प्लाज्मा थेरेपी बंद करो व्हाई now we identified some sort of difficulties due to plasma therapy. We means the doctors, the medical doctors, the physicians, the neurologists identified, they opposed to implement the plasma therapy. All the गोटे दिन वैक्सीन पाई थांते जेकोसी मेडिसिन को से रामडेसिविर हो बा एबे फाबिफ्लू हो गोटे मेडिसिन कहते yes it's okay now it can be implemented on mass to protect COVID-19. Your knowledge generation is also a process of systematic integration of information. Knowledge generation केतेबेल हबो सेतेबेल हबो जेतेबेले it will be systematically integrated. Information is to be systematically integrated. If it is unsystematic, if the information is disorganized, then knowledge generation or construction or creation will not be possible. आमु जदि कुहाई थांता साइकल रो जुआड को बसिकी चलेले चलै परिबो आमे पछपट कैरियर आड़ को अनेकी बसिकी चलै थांते हुए तो साइकल चली थांता कि नहीं डाउट आमे पड़ी खंडिया काबरा हे आमु जदि कहता नहीं पेडल मारिबु तळ को अनेबु न हम पेडल ता जाई कि तळे क्रैंक भितर पसिकी आंगुठी भी कटि थांता बट अब हैपन केतळे कहथने खाली पेडल मारिबु आउ किछि करिबुनी पेडल मारी मारी का घरे को नाळ रे को पोखर रे जाके डुबी जाई थांते पेडल मारू साइकिल चलिबो तमे सुनिलो सुनि सला पर पेडल मारलो साइकिल चलला आउ ब्रेक कथा कहना पेडल मारत साइकिल चलती आगु ट्रक आइला आगु के छुआ पशिगला आगु गाड़ी गड़िया आसला टर्निंग पइला सीधा पळै गलो केनाल रे जोर रे नदी रे पोखरी रे का घरे का कांथरे पिटी गलो so information is to be systematically integrated while knowledge generation is concerned. Next, we have two alternative approaches for development of inquiry regarding the development of inquiry. We have two alternative approaches. What are those? Now, on the basis of phenomenology and on the basis of ethnomethodology. कौन करके alternative में apply करके हम कर परिबे ना for the development of our inquiry, the ability of inquiry we can have two alternatives. Phenomenology. This is one of the alternative of development or developing inquiry of the learners. What is that? One, phenomenology को हम देखिबा. Phenomenology is the study of direct experiences taken at face value.
सर आउ थे रिपीट कर दिंतु.
Yes, correct. So phenomenology को हमें कहूचे phenomenology is the study of direct experiences. Direct experiences. Indirect हबनी. से कहिदबो तमे सुनी जीवो से कहिदबो तमे सिखि जीवो सेमिति हबो. Phenomenology it means it will happen to you unless and until you experience you can't make the queries. So direct experience is the source of knowledge. For example, a belief on primacy of subjective consciousness. Subjective consciousness. तमर विश्वास जहा till date सेटा को केही कोन करिवे तमे कोन करछ सपोज गोटे हमर बिलीफ अछि that is maybe blind belief जोठी कोन हुए आया हुए प्रथम हम कहथिए बाटरे गला बेले जदी बिलेई बाट काटे तने अशुभ सुनिलो प्रथम स्केल रे प्रथम केस रे बिलेई स्कूल जाउतलो बाट काटला बिलेई स्कूल रे माडो खाइलो आउ दिन सेम जाउतलो बिलेई बाट काटला पड़की खंडे आइ गला आउ थरे एम जाउतलो एक गोटे अघटन हला साइकिल खसी गला सो व्हाट विल हैपन अब कोन I will have a bent of mind that whenever there will be a chance of cat crossing the road, you will think that there will be some sort of problem. You will think that there will be mishappening to you. So that is your own belief because experienced it directly. तमे विश्वास करनथु नाम एडा है नथु whenever it comes to you whenever you experience it then only you can say that what is happening. Number 2, an understanding of the consciousness chetana katha ame koche an understanding of consciousness what you are. What do you do? third one is a claim for direct experience. These are some of the features or elements associated with phenomenology. The number 2 alternative is all about ethnomethodology. Ethnomethodology, which is associated with practical activities, practical circumstances. It's a process. Ethnomethodology is a process to understand social accomplishments in their own terms, own words. It simply says that how people make sense of their everyday world. I do repeat, how people make sense of their everyday world. This is associated with ethnomethodology. It means what? You need to know people derive meaning with their daily experiences. And ethnomethodology will help you to know the process that are accomplished with regard to different terms devised or used by different persons in different points of time. So these are the two alternative approaches for development of inquiry. Now, with regard to different emerging models or emerging of field of methods, with the passage of time, with the emerging trends in research, we come across case study method, we come across projective techniques, we sometimes follow or use anecdotal records to collect information, to conduct studies in education. So emergence of field of methods is emergence of field methods is as far as this syllabus is concerned. We come across case study, projective techniques, and anecdotal records. Case study. Case study is an in-depth study of a phenomena, object, or an individual. An in-depth study. Suppose you want to identify the causes of a child's failure in study, especially in English, especially in mathematics. So what do you do? Now you need to study the child with regard to his background, home background, parental education, the minimum level of learning, the tuition that the child goes. Then only you can identify the real cause of being failure in learning English. Then only the root cause of failure in English will be revealed. So case study as an in-depth study of the child will help you a lot to carry out your research. You may observe, you may discuss with the child, you may interact with his parents, you may interact with the teachers, you may interact or put questions or queries or ask or discuss with his friends, with the neighbors, so that the real data can be revealed, and on the basis of that you may draw your conclusion. The projective techniques on a culture, these are also used as emergence of field methods. You have to project. प्रोजेक्ट कथा कौन प्रोजेक्टिव टेक्निक्स third one is called anecdotal records are also used for collecting data. For example, I am saying you need to identify or study the emotional and social behavior of the child. What will you do? Now you may take the help of anecdotal record where the happenings, the mishappenings, the incidents, the good things have been recorded, stored, or written. So while going through the anecdotal record, you may reveal the truth that has happened to the child or the child has performed under different situations. So as far as different studies in education are concerned, we may come across three types of studies in education. One is your relationship studies. Further, it is divided into two subparts. One is your exploratory study, and the other one is predictive study. The second main type of studies in education is all about developmental studies. Developmental with regard to time trends. Time trends. Developmental. Aji, I 4G set available, 5G set available, but just think about 10 years back. Just think about 10 to 15 years back about the handset, black and white, without touch screen, with keyboard or keypad. Now we are having Android with touch screen, with sensors, all these. Likewise, our brain has also developed. Now, आजिका डेट रे आमे जा जानी नहीं 4 वर्ष रे 5 वर्ष छुआ से हमको बहुत faster than us. Is quite very proficient in handling all kinds of handsets, mobiles. And the third one is understanding studies. Understanding studies. जोड़ो का मैं कौन कहूँ qualitative study बोल कहूँ qualitative study का मैं कहूँ So these are the three types of studies in education. Now we have only 10 minutes. We'll move to the fourth. Yes. Approaches to educational research हम देखिए approaches to educational research. We'll discuss about that. There is objective reality and subjective reality. Objective and subjective realities that may vary. जैसे हमें कुछ ना objective type test items, subjective type test items. Then multiple realities are there because we consider from different angles, and we come to know that there are multiple realities, subjective realities. So the subjective कथा हम कहूँ objectivity कथा हम कहूँ objective हेले कौन हबो that is true for all. true for all. But subjective reality it varies from person to person. Each person has a different kind of view regarding one particular concept. And ଆମେ ସେଇ କଥା କହିବା, one question may give birth to different kinds of answers. How? For example, one student will conduct a study on quality of midday meal in elementary schools. What will happen? Now, if you ask the concerned persons, maybe teachers, maybe your SHG, self-help group members, they will definitely say that the quality is of good condition. The midday meal is of good quality. We are maintaining regularity. We are following the norms prescribed by the state government. But this statement may differ when you reach to the students. This statement may differ when you reach to their parents. So there is need of triangulating, cross-checking the statements of different persons involved in one particular issue or problem, so that reality or real facts may be revealed. So objectivist assumptions, they believe that reality exists independent of human cognition. And the duty of social science is to discover important facts and processes that continue or contribute to the reality. And the subjectivist hold that every notion of truth, I do repeat, subjectivists believe that every notion of truth is problematic. So that it will have scope for further development. It will have a scope for further inquiry, further investigation. So, especially as far as the approaches of educational research, we may follow objective approach, we may follow subjective approach. Each approach am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So sorry for interruption. Yes, we are discussing about the approaches. So subjective approach and objective approach of educational research are this. married. Whenever you want to reveal the real truth, we need to follow subjective reality. Because reality is not a constant. What is real for today, that may not be real after some time. So reality, as we are passing through, as we are going through, we need to accept multiple realities, like your multiple
Excuse me,
intelligence.
sir. Is there some sound problem? We can't listening.
Sound problem.
Yes, sir. ଘଁ ଘଁ ଶୁଭୁଛି ସାର୍।
ମୋ ପଟୁ ତ ସେମିତି କିଛି ନାହିଁ। I'm in home. Maybe some sort of network connectivity or network problem.
Yes, sir.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So subjectivity એટલે અમે કહું છે, multiple realities କଥା ଆମେ કહુଛେ, it varies from person to person. And we need to, opt different opinions from different persons on particular issues so that we can reveal the truth. मिड डे मिल ऊपर तमे पिला को पचारिबो, टीचर मानन को पचारिबा, गार्डियन मानन को पचारिबा एवं SHRI सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप मेंबर्स को पचारिबा, they will have the different opinions. So we have to observe what is going on, then only we can cross check, triangulate all these sources, evidences, and we can draw our conclusion. As far as research is concerned, what is true for us today may not be true for the times to come. One method may not be appropriate for all kinds of learners. For the times to come, a method, ଏବେ ବହୁତ ଚାଲିଛି ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଟିଚର ମାନଙ୍କୁ ପସନ୍ଦ ଆସିଛି ଗାଇକା ଗୀତ ଗାଇକା ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି। Just before 20 years, 30 years, it was very strict. Teacher ଯେତେ ଧରିବେ ପିଲା ପଢୁଥିଲେ। ଦଣ୍ଡମୁକ୍ତ ଅଞ୍ଚଳ, ଆଗକୁ ଥିଲା ଦଣ୍ଡଯୁକ୍ତ ଅଞ୍ଚଳ, strict discipline, ଏବେ free discipline. This is all about the components of this. I hope simple be understood by you. Hello.
So, hello. Sir, your voice is not audible. Sometimes it is breaking, and sometimes we are unable to listen some words that you are ending with.
Right, sir.
So what can be done?
Sir, ଟିକେ ସେ objective ଆଉ subjective ଠୁ ଟିକେ ବୁଝି ହେଲାନି। So, sometimes ଆଜି ବୋଧେ network କିଛି problem ଅଛି। ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ବୋଧେ ଏମିତି problem ହଉଛି କି କଣ?
So now your voice is breaking for me.
ସେ କାଲି ଟିକେ repeat କରିଦେବେ ନହେଲେ ସେ objective assumptions ଆଉ subjectivity assumptions।
Okay. I do suggest and request all of you, please go through your study materials so that we can cover within this stipulated time. As you know, we have only 5 days, and today we completed 1 day, and 1 day, 1 block you have to complete, isn't it? Am I clear?
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଯାହା ପଢେଇଲେ ସେଇଟା ଆମର ମେଲ କୁ ଛାଡିଲେ ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା।
କଣ କହିଲେ?
ଆପଣ ଯାହା ପଢେଇଲେ ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ହଉଛି ନା, ସେ କହିଲେ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଆମ ମେଲ କୁ ଛାଡି ଦେଇଥିଲେ ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା।
ନାଇଁ ଯେତେକ ଆମର କ୍ଲାସ ହେଇଛି ସବୁ ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ଆମର ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ରେ ଆଭେଲେବଲ ଅଛି। ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଚାହିଁବେ ଆପଣ ଯାଇକି ଦେଖିପାରିବେ ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ରେ।
अच्छा अच्छा
यूट्यूब रे अपलोड हे सरी ऑलरेडी वीडियोस पूरा
कोउटा मारले कोउटा देले हबो
अच्छा आरसी भुवनेश्वर रो गोटे चैनल अछि अपन सेटा को सर्च करबे सेथिरे देखिथिबा हमर समस्त क्लास पूरा अपलोड हे सरी ऑलरेडी
ओ आरसी
सर आउ गोटे
भुवनेश्वर
क्वेश्चन सर गोटे क्वेश्चन पचारिबार थिला सर सर हमर जो टर्म एंड एग्जामिनेशन होजी हमर गोटे ब्लॉक रे 5टा यूनिट अछि तो हमर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टा गोटे यूनिट रो अछि तो आमे सेटा जानिबो जे फर्स्ट ब्लॉक रो को यूनिट रो क्वेश्चन आसीबो तो सेटा में कंपैरिजन केमति करिवो किछ आईडिया से विचार अपन देबे जरा
रिपीट योर क्वेरी
सर हमर एग्जाम रे 5टा क्वेश्चन अछि तो 5टा ब्लॉक रो 5टा क्वेश्चन अछि तो गोटे ब्लॉक रे 5टा यूनिट अछि तो आमे 5टा यूनिट रो गोटे क्वेश्चन आसीबो तो आमे सेटा केमति करिवो जे 5टा यूनिट रो को यूनिट रो क्वेश्चन आसीबो
ସେଇଟା ତ ମୁଁ ସିଓର କରିପାରିବିନି ତମ ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ଇୟର ର
अच्छा प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन में सर्च करथिली फिर भी मते 2 इयर्स रो क्वेश्चन मते मिलेला आउ भी क्वेश्चन के मु जानि पारलेनी तो सेटा में टिके केमति
हां
जानि
सर हां मैडम मिली जीवो क्वेश्चन मिली जीवो 10
अच्छा
5 इयर्स रो क्वेश्चन मिली
हां से क्वेश्चन रिव्यू कले ही सॉल्यूशन टा पाई जिवे एक्चुअली
आज्ञा सर थैंक यू सर
welcome so let's call it a day here expecting for more participation tomorrow
yes sir yes sir
ଆମେ ବି ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହବା ଏଥର ଆଉ ସମସ୍ତେ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହେଲେ ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ବନ୍ଦ ହବ
हाँ हाँ ले हाँ लेफ्ट है सर